Welcome back to another installment of Kingdom Things with me, your host, Ashton Nicole Phillips. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're alive when I'm alive. My name is Ashton Nicole Phillips, spiritual practitioner, spiritual healer, spiritual creative by the way of God, Goddess, Source, Essential Sun, the Most High, whatever you like to call the force, the energy, the power behind all that is. That is who created me to be in this role. That is who ushered me into this role of being a spiritual creative, spiritual practitioner, a spiritual healer. Experiencing the world already fulfilled. Let's let that breathe. Experiencing the world already fulfilled. Experiencing the world fulfilled in and of ourselves through God or the source light within, we will perceive and experience a world unlike the world we've experienced before. So experiencing the world fulfilled in and of ourselves through the God or source light within, we will perceive and experience a world unlike the world we've experienced before. As we all are in shifting points in our lives, every moment of our lives, we are faced with decisions. And those decisions that we make creates the next moments in our lives. So I'm in a shifting phase in my life myself, where I am allowing myself to be guided and opened up to more expansive facets of myself, more expansive facets than I knew I was before. A big part of this expansion process is understanding that I am in and of myself, I am of the great I am. So I am in and of myself all that there is. At the same time, I'm nothing. I'm in and of myself all that there is, and at the same time I'm nothing. So everything that I could ever need, want, and be, I'm already embodying all of these things. All of these things are inside of me. It's about me activating these different facets of myself, and that's I'm in a space and a shift in my life where I'm activating the facets that have always been inside of me. I wasn't aware of these facets that were inside of me. Because we're programmed to believe certain things about ourselves. We're programmed to believe who we can be, what we can be, who we are, what we are. And the things that we've been programmed to believe about ourselves are far from the whole story. The things that we've been programmed to believe about ourselves are far from the whole story. So right now I'm in a space where I'm being guided to love on myself in order to activate the understanding that I am in and of myself all of the fulfillment that I've always sought outside of myself. So I'm being guided to love on myself, to understand that I am in and of myself all of the things, all of the energies that I've always sought outside of myself. So with activating the fulfillment within, I'm being guided to understand that I need to let go of any expectations of what the future holds, of what my life will look like, or what it will feel like, because understanding that stepping out into the world as this new person, as a person that understands that she is in and of herself everything that she can ever need, want, and desire. The experience that I'm going to have in this world is going to be exponentially beyond what I can ever conceive for it to be in my mind. So I'm in this space of loving on myself for self-fulfillment, self-activation, activating the knowing that all is one and I am a part of the one, which is all. So activating that knowing in myself that everything, all is one. Everything in existence is one. The stars, the moons, the earth, the planet, the people, the trees, the birds, the insects, the animals, the coffee table, the glass of orange juice. All is one, and I am a part of the one. I am a part of the one. So in and of myself, I can achieve fulfillment. I can achieve happiness, joy, abundance, health, the things that we've been taught to seek outside of ourselves. With self-love, I'm able to activate all of those things that we've been programmed to seek outside of ourselves. I can have all of that's already within me. Right now, I'm going through a process of self-love to activate this knowing, to cognize this knowing. It takes time, and we have to be compassionate and loving with ourselves, because it takes time, years, our whole lifetime, and then, the ancestral programming. So generations of being taught, that's indoctrinated in our DNA, generations of being taught that, we have to look outside of ourselves for these things that have always been within us. So shifting that paradigm in your DNA, in your mind, in your body, shifting that paradigm that all is within, loving on myself, loving on ourselves, to understand that all is within. And with this activation, with this self-fulfillment, this activation of the one that's within, and who is the one? God, Goddess, Source, Essential Sun, the Most High. Whatever you like to call the energy, the force behind all that is the one. And we are seated with the one. So loving on ourselves, we activate this knowing, we cognize this knowing. We cognize this knowing that everything that we've been taught to seek outside of ourselves, everything that we've been taught to seek outside of ourselves is already seated within us. It's already seated within us. Alchemy. Alchemy. Oxford Language's definition of alchemy: the medieval forerunner of chemistry, based on the supposed transformation of matter. It was concerned particularly with attempts to convert base metals into gold, or to find a universal elixir. A seemingly magical process of transformation, creation, or combination. Alchemy. We are in the dark. Humanity is in the dark, meaning we are not awoken to our true, boundless nature. Humanity is in the dark, meaning we are not awoken to our true, boundless nature. As we are spirits seated with the energy of the Most High Creator, the One. We are spirits seated with the energy of the Most High Creator, the One, using our physical bodies, these physical avatars, to have a human experience. We are of the One, meaning we are created from the energy that is all of what is. We are of the One, meaning we are created from the energy that is all of what is. We are infinite. We are infinite, boundless beings. Humanity chose to create the consciousness we carry as a collective present day. So humanity chose to create the consciousness we carry as a collective. And the consciousness we carry as below, so above, is what has created what we see in our world today. So the world that we see today, this world is what humanity chose to create, as we have chosen to create the consciousness we carry as a collective. If we collectively decided the sky was a mix of vibrant colors, if we collectively decided that the sky was a mix of collective colors, as seen on the canvas of the French painter Odilon Verdon, our skies would be clouds of varied pigments. So as a collective, if we decided that our sky wasn't blue, if we decided that our sky was a mix of vibrant pigments, as seen on the canvas of the French painter Odilon Verdon, our skies would be clouds of varied pigments. Humanity decides what our world looks like. Humanity decides the functions of our world. Humanity decides the physics of our world. Humanity decides the physics of our world. The evils we perceive are also that of human creation. The evils we perceive are also that of human creation. again, we collectively decide what is. We create what is, as below, so above. So what we believe to be real, what we believe to be of existence, is what is going to be created and alchemized in our world. So the thoughts that we believe are real, the things that we think, the thoughts that we create, the energies that we create within, alchemize the beingness, alchemize the state of our world. So the evils we perceive are also that of our creation. All creation is that of energy. All creation is that of energy. We are in the dark as we cannot perceive or see that there is more in the room than we can currently perceive. We are in the dark as we can't perceive or see that there is more in the room than what we can currently perceive. All creation is that of energy. We can only perceive that of which we know. We can only perceive that of which we know. So what we have created in our world, the consciousness we have created within humanity, what we choose to believe is real, what we choose to believe is reality, is what we see in our world. We can change our reality by changing what we choose, what we put stock in, what beliefs we choose to have faith in, what beliefs we choose to have faith in, what systems we choose to have faith in, what functions we choose to have faith in, what possibilities we choose to have faith in, is what creates our world. Alchemy, the medieval forerunner of chemistry, based on the supposed transformation of matter. It was concerned particularly with attempts to convert base metals into gold or to find a universal elixir, a seemingly magical process of transformation, creation, or combination. All creation is that of energy. We can only perceive that of which we know, and that of which we know is a product of our limited consciousness humanity has realized. We can only perceive that of which we know, and that of which we know is a product of the limited consciousness humanity has realized. The only way to expand beyond our current realized consciousness, the only way to expand beyond our current realized consciousness in reality, is to trust the facets of self that are not bound by the consciousness of our corporeal selves. The only way to expand beyond our current realized consciousness is to trust the facets of self that are not bound by the consciousness of our corporeal selves. So trusting the facets of self that can perceive energies needed for the balanced alchemization of our being and of our lives. So trusting the facets of self that can perceive the energies needed for the balanced alchemization of our being and of our lives. Again, all creation is that of energy, and humanity, we can only perceive that of which we know, that of which we created, that of which we have put our belief in. And that of which we know is a product of a limited consciousness, the limited consciousness humanity has realized. So that means that that of which we know is limited. The only way to expand beyond our current realized consciousness is to trust the facets of self that are not bound by the consciousness of our corporeal selves, trusting our intuition, trusting the God within, trusting the facets of self that can perceive the energies needed for the balanced alchemization of our being and of our life. How do we begin to realize our intuition? How do we begin to realize the God or goddess within? Self-love is the best love because it activates the love that comes from within. It activates the God, goddess within. It activates the great I am within. It activates the one within. Self-love is the best love because it activates the God, goddess, the great I am, the one within. The one, realizing that we are of the one, is realizing liberation as we realize all is within. Realizing that all is one, realizing that separation is an illusion and all is one, is realizing liberation, true liberation, as we realize all is within. We realize closeness to ourselves. We realize closeness to our family and friends, as all is one, as we are all one with the all. We are all one with the all. Life is to be a confluence of love if you allow it to be. God, Goddess, Source, Essential Son, the Most High, designed existence to be a confluence of love if you allow it to be, by dropping into your heart and following your divine guidance, the inner God, Goddess, the source light, the force light within, your intuitive guidance. You will be aligned to a life that is a confluence of love, confluence of abundance, confluence of great health, confluence of all things great, all things for you, all things your purpose, all things the purpose of your existence is what you will align with dropping into your heart, facing the pains in your heart, to activate your heart, to align with your life, which was designed to be a confluence of love, confluence of abundance, confluence of purpose of your existence, the purpose of your existence. Us, humanity, in flesh, are tainted by the historical energies of man's creations. All of our ways are stoked with dysfunction, as man's creations have been out of the alignment of divine creation. No need to shame the self, as our, humans, dysfunctions have always been a planned happening of that of the divine. The dysfunction has been labeled as so by humanity, as humanity cannot and will not perceive the painting of creation in its entirety. For the painting of creation is not stationary, but a forever moving kaleidoscope of perfected imagery, a perfection that can only be perceived through the heart of the divine. Times are changing as the shift is amongst us. Humanity is being ushered out of its season of wayward being. Divine alignment is raining down on the earth through the emanation of divine light through the hearts of the divine. Psalms 126:1. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dreamed. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy. Then it was said amongst the nations, the Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. Restore our fortunes, Lord, like streams in the Negev. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them. It is time for you to act, Lord, your law is being broken. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart and wait for the Lord. See if there is any offense way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. See if there is any offense way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and grant me a willing spirit, and sustain me. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. He says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted amongst the nation. I will be exalted in the earth. I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this installment of Kingdom Things with me, your host, Ashton Nicole Phillips, spiritual practitioner, spiritual healer, spiritual creative, spiritual messenger, by the way of God, Goddess, Source, Essential Son, the Most High, whatever you like to call the force, the energy, the power behind all that is, the power behind creation. That is who ushered me into my role of being a spiritual creative, a divine messenger of God. This podcast has been an amalgamation of messages that I have been guided to incorporate in this podcast over the last few days. So an amalgamation of messages that I am being guided to package here will package, and this is the way I wanted to package in this podcast. So here they are. We as humanity are turning a new leaf. We are stepping back into our divine light. It's not a place that we've never been, but it's a place that we've been programmed to fear. Where we are headed, where we are being aligned to, is not a place we have never been, but it's a place we have been programmed to fear in our human form. Love on yourself. Love on yourself through this process. The love within activates the love. Loving on yourself, self-love is the best love because it activates the love from within. Love on yourself. Remember your pain has purpose. Remember that your existence is purposeful. Remember that you are divinity waiting to be activated. I love you so much. You have a great rest of your day.